Today, we're going to tear apart an absolutely brilliant masterclass in character introduction. We're going to see how a story can set up a character to be this, well, this unstoppable force, right from the very first scene they're in. So it all starts with the sound. No big speech, no dramatic entrance, just the relentless, sharp, and totally focused sound of typing. You know, right away, this sets a tone. This is someone who is defined by their work, by their focus, and by how they deliberately keep the world at arm's length.
And almost immediately, the group we already know, the Host Club, they try to put her in a box that they understand. Their leader, Tamaki, gives us the big metaphor for this whole thing, a single dark rose in a field of bright, cheerful lilies. It's super dramatic, it's romantic, and, as we're about to find out, it totally, completely misses the point.
Yeah, that initial attempt to define her is what really sets the stage. This scene isn't just taking place in a classroom, it's more like an arena, you know? A clash of styles, of vibes, of entire ways of being.
And you can see the conflict laid out so clearly here. On one side, you've got the Host Club, right? All soft, pastel colors, over-the-top theatrics, and nosy whispers. And on the other side, our protagonist. She's like a void of matte black with this cold, stoic expression and a wall of sound pumped into her ears. It's a total visual and sensory battle from the get-go.
And this is absolutely crucial. Her isolation isn't just a passive thing. It's an active choice, a deliberately built wall. That silk blindfold, the heavy bass, that's a fortress. It's a giant flashing sign that says, "Do not enter." And that's what makes what the Host Club does next a direct, and I mean direct, violation of her space.
Because she's built this wall, it completely baits the Host Club into making a huge miscalculation. Their first instinct is to poke at it, to analyze her, and to try and shove this new person into one of their tidy little categories.
First up, you've got Koya, the brains of the operation. He just sees her as a puzzle. He doesn't really care about her as a person. He sees a data point. The male uniform is an anomaly, a variable in an equation that he just has to solve. His whole perspective is analytical, and honestly, it's completely dehumanizing.
Then there are the Hichichin twins, and they see her as, well, entertainment. She's just an edgy look, a challenge. To them, she's not a person to be understood, she's a new game to be played, something to poke and prod just to see what kind of reaction they can get. And finally, you have Honey Senpai, who has this completely different but, equally dismissive take. He basically infantilizes her. He sees her dark, serious look and thinks it's cute, like she's a little shadow doll. Each one of them is just projecting their own stuff onto her. None of them are actually trying to see the person behind the wall. They're all, in their own way, trying to claim her.
But here's the thing. You can only poke a sleeping animal so long before it decides to wake up. And this is the exact moment the entire story and the whole power dynamic just flips on its head.
Let's just break this down, because the tension here is built so perfectly. First, you get the visual intrusion. These two shadows just fall across her laptop screen. Then the auditory and physical invasion, as the twins lean right in. Their fingers reaching for her blindfold is the absolute final line they could cross. And then, the clicking stops. Silence. The pattern is broken. Something is about to happen.
This just shatters every single one of their expectations. They were expecting a shy girl, a doll, a fun little challenge. What they get is something primal. This silent, animalistic snarl. It's not for show, it's not theatrical, it is a genuine, nonverbal threat, a warning shot.
And the effect is instantaneous. The game is over. The playful troublemakers are stopped dead in their tracks. In one single, silent moment, the power dynamic has been completely reversed. They walked in thinking they were in charge, and they just found out they are so far out of their depth. So, what do you do when you come across something totally new? Something that breaks all the known rules? Well, if you're Koya, you don't panic, you analyze. You create a new category. And this brings us to the big intellectual payoff of the scene. Koya coins the term the Onyx Thorn type. And I want you to notice the key phrase here, active exclusion. He finally gets it. Her silence isn't shyness, it's a weapon. She's a void that pulls people in precisely because she gives nothing back. The appeal isn't what you can see, it's the thrilling, terrifying mystery of what you can't see.
And of course, in a moment of just brilliant dark humor, Kaya's mind immediately pivots to how he can monetize this. He sees the dangerous marketing angle, but also, comically realizes that her genuine predatory vibe might be a little too real for their customers. It just goes to show that even when he's faced with a genuine threat, his first instinct is to figure out how to package it and sell it.
But our protagonist is not about to let someone else define her, package her, and put a price tag on her. In these final moments, she completely takes back control of her own story. She confronts the club's top analyst on his own turf. She speaks his language, the language of data, of variables, to show him the massive hole in his logic. She's making it crystal clear that she's not just some object to be studied. She is a smart, observant person who has been analyzing them this whole time. She is seizing the narrative.
And then she drops the hammer. This is her thesis statement. She's not a void that just passively absorbs light. No, she's a force that actively consumes. It's not a personality type, it's a threat. She redefines the Onyx type not as a cool new product, but as a destructive power that could literally tear down everything they've built. And so we're left with this massive question, aren't we? The Host Club thinks they've found a potential new product, a new way to entertain people. But they might have just invited something into their little world that they can't possibly understand, let alone control. So is she a new player in their game, or is she the one who's gonna finally burn the whole stage down? Now that is how you introduce a character who isn't just a person, but a true force of nature.